morning to all. It's very difficult to speak after Vivek sir. But still I'll try my level best. My presentation will be of twofold. One is the subject itself, and second will be the simple what I think and how I reached to this place with what intent, and maybe it will helpful to you also. So what is the scenario of 21st century? One, global competition. I think you all are aware that now after this economic change, there's a lot of competition globally. We have started in 91, 92, and reached to 2019. A lot of change has taken place. Even right now working with the garment industry, we are facing competition. Before 10 years, we were the leader into that, but now a lot of countries, those who are coming up, developing countries, they are a major challenge for us, and similarly in all respect. This is a competition where we need to fight it out, and this scenario will certainly overcome because of the strength what we have in India like youth. Global imbalances, that's one of the scenarios which will happen because a lot of relationship changes amongst countries, and these things will also impact on the global economy. Global governance stalemates. This is also a scenario which lead to a change in the 21st century, and we all have to overcome these things. Certainly rise of new power as China, what we are fighting it out for last so many years. India is trying its level best, and I think years to come we may surpass. I don't know exactly, but the strength what we have in the youth, we win. That's the strength always I talk about, that the population what we have, young population what we have, if their energy will be directed into a right direction, certainly we'll achieve that. Rapid innovation, that is the things I was reading somewhere, that whatever the patents were in 19th century or 18th century, that will happen only in next 40 or 20 years itself. So that's the power of innovation, and I think this is the thing which as a youth or as a Indians we have to look forward, because so far we were always following the steps what others are doing. This thing is never in our mindset. I think people like Vivek sir, what in this education itself, he has done that patent, and that's the innovation and thought process what is required for the change to happen in next century. High internet dependency, that will be the scenario, because even in our days, because older days, we were not, and always I used to say that when in 96, because I started my career in 81, and in 96 when I joined company Nicholas Peramal, on my day of joining, there was a circular that now all the things we want to become a paperless office. And in my life, till that point of time, I have never touched a computer. And all of a sudden, a desktop came on my table and the mouse. And then I asked the IT guys how to do that. Because once I touch it, I cannot control it on the screen. So I came into, to the home and I told my wife, okay, now I think my career is over. Because I have taken the change. And now these people are asking me to work on desktop or computers where I have never worked for. But I tried my level best, and within a very short period of time, now I can work and I can operate the laptop also. That is the change. And now again, more independency. My kids, they teach me how to work on mobile and how to surf on internet. So that's an internet independency will increase a lot. So this will be the scenario where we people have to fight it out. So in Indian context, high cost competitiveness, because as I told you, there are so many countries like Bangladesh, they are getting a support or they are getting the concession from US and other market. Because of that, our product, what we were selling for earlier, is on a they are selling on a cheaper price. So cost competitiveness is the most important challenge for the Indian context. Then rupee is tumbling down, as you know, from 74 to 69, and always whatever the business relationship we have, whatever the orders we have, over a period, what we find that this is our manufacturing cost, or we cannot sell it to the US or to UK because of the high cost. So rupee is tumbling, and which is the biggest challenge for all of us. India is more reliant on a domestic consumption because if you see why China is ahead, their foreign currency is, I think, 10 times more than India. So that's the biggest challenge what we have. We are more reliant on our domestic consumption, not on our exports. Let's focus on research. That is a point, I think, in Indian context, what we are lagging behind. So these things, I think, will be a opportunity for all of you, that if we think through that research can be another alternative for which we can work on. Our 60% population potentially employable. That is, though the education rate is 65%, but employability is very low. So that is the very biggest challenge what we have. We have to increase our employability. Low FDI, that's another challenge. As I told you, that China's export is 10 times more than us. So foreign currency, if it is not comes, then again rupee tumbling down, it will further tumbling down. So what would be the skill requirement for 21st century? Of course, the technical skill, subject knowledge, that you have to work on. That is the most important thing. As though correctly Vivek sir has said, that marks in your academics may not be very relevant. Are relevant because that shows how you want to attain for problem solving process, or the task which is given, how serious you are in solving those problems. But technical skill or subject knowledge is the most important aspect which is required for the next generation to come or to get the success. Soft skill, English language, though here we are a bit better than China because we stood in TOEFL score in 19 among 163 countries, which are, we stand on 19 at 19 number. But these countries which are poor in English language, they are working hard for English language and may their surpluses if we don't take care of these things. Computer knowledge, marketing skill, that is very important. What you do, you must be in a position to sell it off to the public. This skill, what I feel, if we go global, then we must know along with the communication skill. Because Vivek sir has already touched upon it, whether it's oral communication, written communication, or your body language, how you talk, these things are very important skills which are required for the 21st century. So what is the opportunity with us to become the global leader or overcome the global competition? Certainly, we have cheaper skill force, 65% population below 35 years. So that's a strength what we have. We have more younger people in comparison to other countries. So that's an opportunity which you should work on. English language skill, as I told you, then a TOEFL scale, we stood amongst 19 out of 163 countries those who speak English. Make in India campaign, skill development initiative is another opportunity. So skill initiative or skill development is always very important for all of us, whether you are doing a pharmacy or engineering or any stream of it, but you need to develop your skill. And I think Make in India campaign or the entrepreneurship, which will be the very good opportunity for all of us to overcome this. So what is the success mantra now? We talk of the challenges in Indian context, what are the opportunities available in us. So how to achieve this? That's more important. As I told you, my presentation will be twofold. One is I'll talk of the basic data or on the subject itself and how to do that practically. That will, and based on our experience, day-to-day experience. So how to plan? I think during break, some students were talking to me about the career and all these things. Your career required determine your skill and interest. That you must first determine what interest you have and what is the skill you have, and decide on goals, as correctly said in the first session, that decide on your short-term goal and the long-term goal and try to move in the direction. Then education and your value system. Because in my 40 years of my career in HR, I did lot of recruitments. So during this, along with your academic marks, your subject knowledge, first thing what we try to say is what is the cultural fit to the organization. So many times it's very difficult because organization has a different value, you have a different value system, but my request is always stick to your value system. And one must have as honesty and integrity. We have talked in our earlier session, that is more important, which will lead to you to your desired goal. Whatever the competition is, scenario is changing, people are there, but they have these things, they have their own value system, they have a determination, so I don't think it's difficult to achieve it. So that can be a plan to overcome these things, competition, and that may be one of the success mantra. Along with this, I'll always talk on these things. Consider a person as a whole person, and this whole person has a requirement or need in these four bodies. Your body has a certain requirements, certain challenges, certain needs. Your mind has certain requirements, certain needs, which you need to overcome, you need to see. As an HR, we have to ensure, and as an individual, everybody has to see about it. We have a certain requirement and needs for the heart, and similarly for soul. So a whole person is comprises of body, mind, heart, and soul. If you look toward the need of these four things and try to achieve it, that will be the success which will you assure that certainly one will get if he understands what are the requirements and how to overcome it. What is the need of a body? Whenever you join an organization, you start a business, you must see that you should get a fair pay, flexible working hours, because this is always a requirement of a body. Work-life balance and all this, what we are talking first session, is that this is thing which we require and this is a requirement of a body. But how to overcome it? Initial days, because as correctly said, that for your initial days, work-life balance is important, or in your later life of your is important. So that you have to strike a balance between these. Safety, that's the job security I am talking about. Work environment is a requirement of a body. Many of the companies where if you see, if there are hundreds of surveys which speaks about when person leaves the organization, he is not living because of the pay, but is living because of his boss. So work environment is not conducive. So these may be the challenges. Why? Because that's a need of a body. So as an organization, as a company, as an HR professional, we should ensure that our company where we work on, the working environment is such or such where an individual or the workmen, those who are working with you, the employee, those who are working with you, may adjust themselves and try or start loving to the organization. Then only organization will get the result and you get the retention of the people. Employee-friendly policies, cultural and lifestyle or work-life balance. So these may be the need of a body. So if you understand this, then how to overcome will be more easy to understand. What are the requirements of a mind? You want, or anybody wants, when you go into organization, you require a productive work, engagement, because I think the employee engagement, when we talk about if employees engage, then result for the organization are guaranteed. If it's not, then the desired result may not come. So you have to create an environment as a company where employees feel engaged. As an individual, try to love the work what you are working, because that's a requirement or need of your mind. Utilization of skill and knowledge. If an individual is getting an opportunity to utilize his skill and knowledge, then he will give 100% of what the potential or what the competency he has. But that is also true, that if work is assigned to you, because as correctly said, hardly 5 to 10% people are competent. They don't believe on excuses. They want to complete the job, complete the task which has given it to you. Though it may be the requirement of mine, but once if it is a requirement, then certainly you as an individual try to solve those things. Growth and opportunity, if it is there, because that's a requirement of your mind, and if it is there in the organization, retention of the people or satisfaction of the people will certainly increase. Clear expectation and communication, feedback, mentorship and training. I think in first session we have talked on mentoring, because that is one, as an individual you identify your mentor, but in organizations, create that culture that where people, your down the line people is treated very well. And if this thing is there, then retention will increase and you can give your 100% to the organization. What is the need of a heart? That always an individual wants, should get the self-respect, status, motivation, because in the session we are talking about the motivation and the self-motivation. Because the person has to be self-motivated when he believes in, when he thinks that what he wants is very clear to him, then certainly universe will help him to achieve those things. Recognition, praise from others, that's an appreciation and these things, culture, what we talk about, should be in an organization. And always, if somebody will praise you, you get connected and try to deliver 100% of yours. Wants to feel trusted, that is very important, one of the points which organization, because everybody wants, because that's a requirement of your heart, that you must be trusted. If work has been assigned to you, then an organization or a senior has a trust on you, but you as an individual should also deliver in the same way. That's very important. No biasness, that has to be, because it's a culture that you know how to work in team. Because one point was what has been touched upon, that teamwork has to be one of your skills which you should develop. Rather than competing, how to synergize and get the work done, that's more important. Because you want that you should be trusted, hence you must know that how to work in team. That's very important. And what your need of a soul is fulfillment of a spiritual requirement, social security and belongingness. So if you know these are the requirements of a whole person, of their body, mind, heart and soul. So these are the requirements, what we know that, and how to fulfill it, and what are the challenges attached to it, and what is the success mantra, will certainly lead you to get the desired result for you individually and for the organization. And whatever the scenario is, 21st century challenges are, as a team, as a country, will fulfill those requirements if we fulfill all these requirements. So success is ahead. Now we know these are all our requirements, these are our needs, and what is expected from you. If you are very clear, then success will come. How it comes? Shift your mindset along with new roles. That is adaptability. Why it is important? Because of the global competition. Business scenario is changing on day-to-day basis. On day-to-day basis. The things which are not in your control or the organization's control will impact because of the world economy. So what you require is adaptability. Whatever the scenario is, you should be flexible enough to adjust that. How to do that? Is shift from growth mindset or fixed mindset to the growth mindset. People have their mindset. If he is a growth mindset, I can learn anything I want to. Whatever the changes are of 21st century, if I have a growth mindset, then certainly I can learn anything what I want. When I'm frustrated, I preserve. I want to change myself because scenario is changing, time is changing on day-to-day basis. So what if you have a growth mindset? Then you want to change yourself because you want to achieve that. You will try hard to achieve that if you have a growth mindset. Tell me, I try hard. If you succeed, I am inspired. My efforts and attitude determine everything. That may be some of the characteristics of a growth mindset. And if your mind is fixed mindset, what it lead to? I am either good at it or I am not. You decide on the day of joining of the job that it's not my cup of tea. Because you have a fixed mindset. When I am frustrated, I give up. That is the attitude we people have. Then it is very difficult to challenge ourselves in a change environment. It's very difficult for us to adapt the change scenario. So always shift your mindset from fixed mindset to the growth mindset. When I fail, I am no good. Tell me I am smart. If you succeed, I feel threatened. My ability determines everything. What are the other things? Set clear goals and expectations. And in the first session, we learn about short-term goal and the long-term goal. Similarly, in your organizations, set your goals and expectations for the year and for the organizations. Right? There are various tools which is available, but as an individual, you should set your goals for yourself and your expectations. This will be the success mantra. For what? The requirement of a whole person. Accept change. What are the changes? Accept rather than sit on it. Or don't do anything because I am as it is. I don't want to change myself. If that attitude you have, it's very difficult to face the competition of 21st century or challenges of the 21st century. Enhance your adaptability. That's flexibility or adaptability, what we are talking about, that we have to enhance. Because many times, if you have a fixed mindset, I cannot do it. If these things come in your mind, then it's very difficult to overcome that. So adaptability or flexibility is one of the skills what as an organization we are looking for in each and every individual of the company. And understand, business is changing very fast because of various things. If you are not changing yourself, then either it will be lost to the organization, or as Sir has correctly said, if you do a mistake, first thing warn, second thing again warning, and third time say bye bye. So we feel that no, it's not my cup of tea and a lot of competition, I cannot do it. So enhance your adaptability, increase self-awareness. That's again come to study, gather the information. Internet is available because future world mostly depend on. I think in this college itself, when I was talking to a few of the lecturers in 3-4 years before, I made the statement that when as a teacher, as a professor, we are teaching to the students the same which is available in the net, I think they will not be interested. I'll give an example. On Friday, there may be a lot of absenteeism because new picture has released. They will be more interested to go to the movie rather than to attending the class. But when, as a professor, you give them logical answer or give beyond that, based on internet, beyond internet, then only you will attach to yourself. So these things are very important because net or self-awareness is one has to increase as a solution to the success matter. Asking for help, as I correctly said, that saying yes to everything, if you cannot do it, simply say, I want to help. I can do this much, but beyond that, I require help. If this is the situation, always ask for. My daughter, she is studying in San Diego. When she had joined the college, there are a lot of changes and I was here. So what I told her, that go to your professor, ask for help, and I motivate and ensure that she should go to the professor and ask. She should go to the concerned person for the help, because scenario is different, country is different, requirement is different. So don't shy to seek any help from where you get for your betterment. Leverage network, as I think I have talked more on this, that whatever the information available in net, or even networking will be another skill which is required, because when you are working for an organization and there is some change, then the networking will certainly help to you also as well as to the individual. So networking is very important skill which is required to overcome the challenges of 20%. Develop your brain flexibility, embrace your feeling and emotions. I think in first sessions we have learned more on emotions, how it lead to your passions, how to lead or how to challenge that, or how to utilize your emotions to convert that into your patience. Analyze your ability, work outside the box. Don't do, because earlier what has done so far, I am going ahead based on that. But because world is changing, competition is there, so do something which is not there. Believe on your instinct and do something out of box after reading the books, collecting the information, and try to do the things which is others are not doing. Then only you will be a step ahead to the competition. Innovation and creativity, improve your confidence and overcome your fears. That is very important, and I think no need to say you must be confident, not the overconfident. So improve your confidence. If you have subject knowledge, you will deliver better. So try to gather the information as much as possible, and you must have a confidence in yourself and overcome your fears. Put heart, mind and soul into even your smallest task or job which has been assigned to you. Effective communication, certainly, that is the communication skill what we have talked about. It has to improve on, your communication has to be better. Learn to it and express yourself freely and understand that skill, how to do that. And I think a very nice statement what Sir has made, that we should organize some inter-competition during the academics so that people or the students come out for expressing their feelings and communicate in a smarter way. So challenges are what makes life interesting, and overcoming them is what makes life more meaningful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, sure.
We have some questions.
I love it.
There's a question from Jitendra Malviya, civil third year. He has asked you a question: how to fulfill spiritual requirements?
Individual by organizations. Individual has his all requirement related to the spiritual end. So, deal your employee. I'm explaining context of the organizations. Deal your employee with respect. That's more important. If you don't, then there will be disconnect between your emotions, your thought process, and the individual. So you have to improve your organization has to improve or give an opportunity, because these four requirements, where organization has also ensure that how to improve the spirituality requirement of an individual. Need of an individual requirement, spirituality is certainly I must be deal with respect by the organization.
Thank you, sir. Another question is how to be aware of modern challenges of industries.
How to?
How to be aware of modern challenges of industries.
Challenges of industry, how to awareness. First, what I have talked about is networking, because your business scenario itself tells you about the challenges which is coming to the organization, and during that period how you overcome, because your business results will speak about the challenges attached to the industry.
We have questions from another auditorium as well.
Sure.
A question from Anshul Dwivedi from BBA. How is thinking of a person changes the mindset of a person? How do we really overcome from overthinking?
Certainly, thinking is good, but overthinking will lead to a no man's land. Because we make any scenario, if you have a overthinking to the individual for a particular scenario, then will lead to the no answer and fear come into the picture. So always overcome your fear so that instead of overthinking, you think how to decide, how to do, because your think or your thought will always lead to the action what you do. Overthinking will not lead to your action. Thinking initiates the vibration for your brain, which goes to your brain, and hundreds of ideas come in your mind, which are stored in your mind, whether it's positive or negative, and that positive thoughts, if it is there, then it leads to your action. So make such thoughts or thinking or thoughts which convert into a right actions. So overthinking will not, because that will lead or instrument your negative thought process which is available in your brain.
So we have a question that you interacted with the young minds of IIST as of now in tea break. So what do you think that these kids should be working on to improve public quality?
While I have interacted with the students here.
Yes, you interacted with tea break, you interacted with the students. So they wanted to know that if there is something that they should work upon.
So there are a lot of questions which come to my mind. While interacting, one thing what I understand is that anything, any students or any institute, if they give an opportunity for the students to enhance their skills which are required, will certainly lead to a right solutions. Students right now they are working in for the short-term goals. They have to look for a long-term goals. They must understand, because whatever the interaction I have so far here or everywhere where I will go for the addressing to the institute, is that how we'll get a first job that will change their field. But they never look for where they want to go, because that will determine, because always the same situation when I passed out in 81 my MSW, there was few, during those days, very few companies were coming for the placements. So I did my master's in labor welfare and personnel management. So during that year, no company has come for the placement for labor welfare and personnel management. But there are few organizations on social administration comes. So I faced the interview and I got success. So since I did my specialization in labor welfare and personnel management, so I was confused in my mind what to do. Because immediate goal was to get the job. But I was confused because I did my specialization in labor welfare and personnel management, but to join the social administration field. So I went to one of my professors and asked him what to do, sir. He told me I cannot give you a straight answer because you have to decide. But one thing, that if you are standing on a platform, you want to go to Jain or Assam or whatever, we give you that example only, and you are waiting for a fast train to come to reach that station. But somehow that day, that fast train was late, and a slow train which stop at every station has arrived at the platform. What you will do? You will board the train or you will wait for fast train to come? That will be the answer, you decide. So I think that gives an answer to this question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing abundance of ideas and thoughts. Thank you very much. To honor our guest, may I humbly request Dr. B.R. Raghuveer, sir, to present a token of gratitude to Dr. Mukesh Vyas, sir. Can you round of applause, please?
कैमरा के सामने
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have among us Dr. Subodh Srivastava sir from Interact Technology. May I humbly request Dr. V.R. Raghuveer sir once again to extend a welcome to Dr. Subodh Srivastava sir. A warm welcome, please. Thank you, sir. Our next speaker of the day is Mr. Ashutosh Sharma, sir. May I humbly invite sir to enlighten our budding professionals. A warm welcome for sir, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a real pleasure to be here with a fantastic bunch of students here. And I must say that I really, really like the Saraswati Vandana. So my compliments to the team which presented Saraswati. I'm in August company of some brilliant speakers, and I'm not a professional speaker. So my presentation might be a little unstructured, and I want you to participate in that. We will not do it in a structured way. The question answers will be a part of the presentation, so feel free to stop me and ask me a question whenever you want. So, my friend, Mr. Amit, who worked with me many years ago, he called me a couple of days back. I was traveling, and I was not feeling very well. But he requested me, and I said, okay, I will be a part of this program. So I'm here today. When Amit called me, he said that this is an HR conclave, and I'm not an HR expert. I cannot claim to be an HR expert. So I told Amit that I'll be telling some stories. So here I am telling you some stories, and let's see if it makes sense to you. So many years ago when I was working with Amit, we were working in a company called Columbia Broadcasting Services. It was a company which used to make music. And in those days, I don't know if the generation of today is familiar with the music cassettes. We used to have music in cassettes, which was followed by CDs. And then, today the CDs are also not seen anywhere. And this was the year 1990, when the movie, a very famous movie of its time, called Die Hard 2 came, starring Bruce Willis. I don't know how many of you have seen that, because this is from another generation. Many of you were not even born at that time. So 1990, this movie came, and something which really struck me was one scene where John McClane, the character of John McClane, played by Bruce Willis, is at an airport in California, and he collects the fingerprints of the criminal, and he sends it to his headquarters in New York to verify those signatures, and within minutes, on an instrument which looked like a telephone, the signatures came on a piece of paper. And I said, OMG, in today's parlance, the way you guys speak, I said, oh my God, what a brilliant technology. Within minutes on a phone instrument, you're receiving a paper with the fingerprints. This was brilliant. And when we were working together in the year 1992, I remember very correctly, our office was in Delhi. Our head office was in Bombay. They sent for our office this fax machine, and it was to be installed in our office. Once it was installed, they sent a test message from Bombay. The whole office, about 22, 23 people, we were standing there, and everybody was clapping when the paper came out of the machine. Brilliant. Year 1992. And year 2000, beginning of the 21st century, nobody uses fax machines. I don't remember when was the last time a fax machine was used. I haven't used. I don't know if in Indore, in the institute, you use the fax machine anymore, but it's not used anymore. So what's happening? The world is changing so fast. The technology is changing so fast. Our buying behaviors are changing so fast. We are not being able to keep pace with that. We don't understand what's going to happen next. So, I go to my first slide, and here are some instruments which we were using just about 20 years back. We don't use them anymore. The world has changed so much. Anybody knows what this is? Well, some of you have seen that, but there are not many voices. So apparently, not many of you have even seen a fax machine before. The alarm clocks have gone. We use our phones to do most of the jobs that most of these instruments were doing for us. The cassettes, the music cassettes that I was talking about, which were bread and butter at that point of time, we were selling music. Nobody knows now what's a music cassette. I have over 1,000 of these lying at my home. I don't know where to play, how to play these instruments. You don't even get the instruments to play these cassettes anymore. The phone is gone, the photo film is gone. I have two very expensive, very, very nice cameras which I bought at the end of the 90s. I don't know what to do with them. I don't get the film. Even if you get the film, you can't have them develop. It's crazy. The world is changing so fast. The floppy disks. I mean, every office used to use floppy disks. Now you cannot even find them anywhere. Probably in a museum. I mean, if you go to a museum, you can probably find a floppy disk there. So many changes are happening in the 21st century. Oh, how is it different? How is the 21st century different from the 20th century? There were always new inventions coming. There were always new changes coming in. But how is it that the 21st century is different from the 20th century? And who am I to tell you something about the 21st century? You are the people of the 20th century. We the speakers, we belong to the 20th century. And apparently, we may claim to have more experience than the rest of you. But you are the guys who understand the 21st century better than any of us. I talked to my son, who's a second-year engineering student. When I talk to him, I feel, my God, this guy knows much more than me. I mean, what am I talking? So you guys know much more than us about what's happening. So the main difference between the 20th century and the 21st century is there are changes which are taking place now. The volume, the variety, the velocity and volatility of those changes is enormous compared to the changes which are happening in the 20th century. In the past, there were technological changes. There were new products coming in. But today, everything is changing. The way we buy, the way we pay, the kind of products we buy, how we do the shopping, everything is changing. It's not the same anymore. And we have to be prepared for that. What is happening? So, when I say, the things which are changing right in front of our eyes is what I call future past. The things which we know is going to happen immediately is what I call future now. And future is something which we are sure is going to happen in near future. And near future is not far away. I'm talking about year 2025. You will see many of these changes coming in. In the year 2025, which is just 6 years from now. You will see many changes taking place. People in the past, when I was a student, I was studying in the college, my parents wanted me to take up a government job. They wanted me to take a steady career, work for what? 37 years of my life in one job, have long careers. But long careers are dead, my friends. If you're thinking about building a long-term career in a company, that's no longer there. People have short-term objectives, but very have very progressive and very active ideas, and they want to move on with life. So long-term careers are dead. Retiring at the age of 60 is dead. We have Dr. Mansi in front of us. After retiring, he started a new career, He's now mentoring people, he started new companies, he's investing in companies. So retiring at 60 is passing. It's gone. People are not going to retire at the age of 60. Large physical office spaces. This was a dream. When I was a student, I think for many of you, this may be a dream. To work in a very beautiful, large office. But no, that's not going to happen anymore. More and more people will work from their homes, they will work from their cars, or from a cafe. Today in Delhi, I see so many bright young people sitting at Starbucks and working on their computers there. So a lot of things, this is all past now. The things are changing. Large supermarkets. The supermarkets like you see Big Bazaars. That's the example we have. Or in France and other places, Carrefour and other large chains. Even Walmart. Their businesses are in deep danger. With the e-commerce business, everything is delivered at home and people don't have the time anymore to go to these large supermarkets. The world is changing. And Why was it that Flipkart was making such huge investment in Flipkart recently? It's precisely because of this reason. Because Amazon has completely changed the game. And we have to be, the businesses have to be ready for this. What is future now? What is happening today? Your mobile device, your mobile phone is such a powerful instrument in your hand, which we don't even think about sometimes. But at our fingertips, at any point of time, we have access to so much of information. We can make payments, we can do just about anything with our mobile device. This is the future now. And this is the future in the hands of the people today. People have much longer lifespans. I remember if I remember correctly, when we became independent, the life expectancy of males in this country was 47 years, and that of women was 49 years, something like that. Today, the life expectancy of males is over 60 years, and females, I think, is about 62 or 63. And in advanced and developed countries, it's over 80 years. So people are going to live long. And when they're going to live long, their requirements, their needs are going to be very different. They're going to be different, because earlier people had youth and then people died. Now we're going to have people with youth, a long middle age, and then the death will follow. So there will be many new products, many new product categories, many new inventions and innovations will be focused at that new category of people which is going to live in the age group of 50 to 70 years. A lot of new inventions will come. There will be so many opportunities existing for these kind of people. Instant information. As somebody mentioned, I think it was Dr. Mansingh, when we were starting, we had to go to the libraries to get information. Now we don't have to do the hard work. The information is instantly available on your phone. This is what is happening in future present, in future now. Climate change. Climate change is happening. We all know that. We all speak about it. But it's a challenge. It's a threat for all of us, but it also brings a lot of new opportunities. Recently, just about 2-3 years ago, there was this new category of product called air purifiers, which came into the market. And many people in Delhi are buying that. Who had thought about purifying airs at home 5 years ago? People were not even talking about it. So much is happening right in front of our eyes and we fail to see that. E-commerce. E-commerce is changing just about anything. I mean, when we were management students, the kind of things that we were taught are not valid anymore. I mean, the game has gone 360 degrees. Everything, all the management principles and the marketing principles that we used to study, they have gone upside down. Everything is changing. And future, that's something that we can see. I am not thinking about future, which is 50 years from now, 100 years from now. We are going to see it in our lifetimes. We will see 3D printing, we will see autonomous cars, robots, homework car officers. I mean, this is going to happen very, very soon. So this is what 21st century is all about. And when you say, how do we prepare for the 21st century? And what is the success mantra of the 21st century? There is no clear success mantra. There are certain principles which are universal, which are always applicable, which will remain forever. Like your hard work, your education, your communication, your integrity, etc., etc. They will remain forever. And they're very, very important in our lives. But how is it different from what was there in the 20th century and the 21st century? So there are some things which are changing. Now I'm talking about future, which is just a few years from now. Some things will change forever. That will mean a lot of jobs will go, a lot of threat for a lot of people, but a lot of opportunities for a lot of other people. What is this? It's a drone. Delivery pizzas. The delivery men will lose their jobs. It's going to happen very soon. They will lose their jobs. The plastic money, the credit cards, they will go. I'm not saying that companies, Visa or MasterCard will go, but the plastic cards will go. And what is going to replace them? Android Pay, Apple iPhone Pay, Samsung Pay. You are going to pay by your phone. Your phone is going to become more and more powerful. Very soon, there will be no need to carry a plastic card in your pocket. The mirrors in the cars They will go. There will be sensors everywhere. Already there are front, the rear parking sensors, there will be front sensors, there will be side sensors. Maybe there will be no need of the rear view mirrors in the cars. Even the drivers will go. The cars will become autonomous, or maybe the robots will be driving the cars, so the drivers are going to lose their salaries. The mobile chargers are going to go. Wireless charging. So a lot of chargers will go. So the businesses are changing like crazy. It's happening so fast. And more importantly than anything else, the ownership will go. And when I say ownership, what does it mean? We, the people of the 20th century, we were taught, we grew up thinking it's very important to own a house, to own a car, to own this or to own that. That is going to change. People will rent, people will share, people will collaborate. This is what is going to happen. And it's not going to happen in very far future from now. It will happen very soon. So this is what, and a lot of other things. I mean, I cannot put all the things which came to mind on the slide, but a lot of things are going to change in the next 10 years. Very, very soon. So when I say, the volume, the velocity, the variety of changes which are taking place, everything is changing. There are social changes, cultural changes, commercial changes, environmental, economic, political, all kinds of changes happening all around us at this point of time. We are at a very exciting time or a very challenging time, depends on how you want to look at it, in the human history. It's a very exciting time. A lot of things are changing in front of us. The way we travel, Uber, Ola, they are examples of some brilliant thinking by some young people, and they are huge business models. This has completely changed the way the people travel now. I have a friend, when he was working in Delhi, he had 3 cars. He moved to Bangalore, which is a city where I believe it's so difficult to drive. He decided not to have any car. He, his wife, his family, they all travel by Ola and Uber. They don't travel anymore by their own cars. What's the point? You can't even drive them. The food. I mean, can you imagine platforms like Zomato and Swiggy? They are being so successful, and we are buying food from restaurants, from places that we have never even been to. We've never even seen those places. We don't even know how, that food which is cooked there is hygienic, not hygienic, how it's going to be, but we are placing orders there. I mean, what is happening to consumer behavior? It's changing completely. Things like food, which is something very personal for a person, people are very particular about what they're eating. They're not even caring about that. The way we buy, Amazon and Flipkart, I tell you a little story, and that's why I say I'm a 20th century person, I'm not a 21st century person. I'm nobody to tell you about a success mantra for the 21st century. Just about 7 or 8 years ago, or maybe 9 years ago, we had a company from our group which was selling some gadgets, some consumer electronic devices. They were like, your iPods, but not iPod, this is not Apple, our company's own brand. iPods, some cordless phones, some mobile phones, some other gadgets, they were bringing into India. And this guy said that we will try to sell some of these products to the e-commerce business. I said, what are you talking about? When we were studying management, we were told that there is a category of products called shopping goods. And shopping goods are the products for which a person likes to shop, which means he doesn't mind to spend time. He likes to go, touch and feel the product and then buy. It's a pleasure for that person to spend time on buying the product. That is a shopping good. I said, come on, these products are not going to sell on e-commerce. I mean, you can sell groceries, you can sell books, you can sell some of the things for which you have to basically go out and you don't really enjoy doing that. And he said, sir, believe me, it's going to work. And he was right. Because he's just about 20 years younger than me. He could probably see the future better than me. We cannot see what's happening around us, but your generation can see. You can see much better. You are more adaptive to the changes. We are not so much adaptive to the changes which are happening around us. Anything, for anything, people are installing apps. on their mobile phones, go to Google app, Google Play Store, install an app, and bingo, you're in business immediately. WhatsApp. Our communication is changing. The way we communicate is changed completely. You are connected all the time. Whichever part of the world you may be in, you can be in touch with your friends, your family, your colleagues, your office, any time of the day or night. You can remain connected. I remember just about 10 years ago, before WhatsApp came or before, Skype came, whenever we would travel abroad, we would incur huge expenses on our phone bills. Today, zero. Zero. We are not spending any money. You're in the offices are Wi-Fi, you're connected all the time, the hotels have free Wi-Fi, you can call your families, friends, chat for hours, you can do whatever you want. Our way of communication has changed. The way we pay the money has changed too. The cards are going, we are doing Paytm, we are using our mobile devices for making the payment. That is going. The way we entertain ourselves is changing too. The TV channels are worried. They are very worried. Because more and more, I don't know what is happening in your houses. At my home, when I have some time, rather than switching channels on the TV, I see a movie on the Netflix. I identify, I see a movie on Netflix or Amazon Prime. This is what I do. And why is it significant? It's because the advertisers or the advertising companies now have to see which are the media for advertisement. Advertising is going to change as well. People probably will be advertising more on Google than paying a lot of money to, let's say, ZTV or Star TV or all those TV networks. And this particular company is an aberration. I put this as a mark of respect to Dr. Azim Premji, who is probably the biggest philanthropist in this country, who has committed $21 billion to charity. And why I mention it is because he's a guy who probably saw the change coming. His company was from a very small town in Maharashtra, very close to Indore, called Jalgaon. They used to make vegetable oil. After his father passed away, he came back from USA. He took over his company, started to make some changes in that. And when the IT revolution started, he invested in that. And today Wipro is one of the largest companies in the IT sector in the world. So these are the kind of people who see the change and who adapt to it and ready for the challenge. So if you talk about the 21st century skills, what should be the skills for the 21st century? I think most of the things which the rest of the speakers have spoken so far will always hold true. They always have their importance, they will always remain. But there are some skills, for instance, information literacy. Now, there is a lot of information available today on the net. When I talk about information literacy and media literacy, we have to be very careful. The information is very easily available, and whenever something is very easily available, you have to take it with a pinch of salt. There is so much of misinformation happening on the internet. There is a very good chance that the information that you pick up from the internet, there is a very good chance it's going to be either false or it's going to be misleading. Today, incidentally, this reminds me, today is a very interesting day. Today is the 30th anniversary of the creation of World Wide Web. Did anybody read this article in the paper today? And anybody remembers the name of the founder of World Wide Web? Tim Berners-Lee. So there was an interview of Tim Berners-Lee this morning in the press, and he said that he's very concerned. He's very worried because the World Wide Web is being used for spreading lies, hatred, and misinformation. So when I talk about media literacy, information literacy, you have to be very careful. You have to check your information that you have, all the forwards which you receive on WhatsApp, everything that you receive. Check it multiple times before you make another forward. You may or may not subscribe to a particular ideology, but then it is our responsibility as responsible citizens to share what is true, and not to share it just to stop what is not true. So these are the skills that we will need to develop. There are some things, there are some tools which are available to the people of the 21st century, but they have to be used responsibly, and that responsibility is a part of the success mantra of the people of the 21st century. You have to use this information, which is a very, very powerful tool, in a responsible manner. That is a part of the success mantra. Technology literacy. You have to remain abreast with the technology of the 21st century, whatever is being taught to you. But one thing I would like to mention here is that in the universities in India, probably Mr. Roshan can change that in this institute here, we are still subscribing to the old ways of teaching. The curriculum hasn't changed. The curricula hasn't changed over the years. We continue to teach the same things which were being taught 30 years ago. That is something that must go. That is happening in many universities across Europe and America. And the traditional way of teaching is not going to help the students of the 21st century. If you're talking about a particular mantra for success in the 21st century, it is the responsibility of the people who are running educational institutions to be good to the students by providing them the latest tools, the latest methods of education. And whatever you are teaching, whatever you study in the university, it is your responsibility also to learn more, to learn additionally with the help of the internet. You have access to a lot of information available just at the tap of fingertip, and that is what you have to learn to use. Apart from the normal curricula that you have to do much more than that to remain abreast with the technology and the information and everything else which is happening across the world. So keep yourself updated apart from the curriculum that you have. Then you have to learn the life skills, which in which you must learn critical thinking, creativity, collaboration. Collaboration is a very important thing here, because the way that things are changing so fast, a single person may or may not be able to keep up with the ideas which are Can you share a joke with us too? Okay. So the things which are changing, for one person, for a single person to remain updated and to take action on the basis of the change on the basis of the ideas which are emanating, it's not easy. Collaboration is very important. More and more people will collaborate and work together. So collaboration is very tricky, because sometimes you may have a certain pace, the pace at which you're working, but the people you're collaborating with may not have the same pace. This can make you angry or frustrated. But this is the art that you have to learn, how to collaborate with people. Learn and educate and create something fruitful with the help of the other people. Communication skills are very, very important. When I see today, the young generation has its own lingo. OMG is one example, But, don't take it. Keep it to WhatsApp. When you work in a professional environment, I think using good language is always very, very important. Recently, a young colleague of mine was sending me an email, hi, and then the mail body, and then he signs off by writing TC, Ajay. I was wondering, what is this TC? So you know that. This is very good when you're communicating with your friends. But I think it's always good to use good language, good written language. So I'm not saying don't use it. When you're friends, when you're on WhatsApp, something informal, you can use that kind of language. But for all official communication, let it be official. There's no harm in keeping it official. So when I put this picture, this is from one of the classrooms. I work for a Spanish business group. This is about 200 companies worldwide, and we have a university. It's called the Mondragon University. The group is called Mondragon Corporation. It's the largest business group in Spain. It's like the Tata Group here, and one of the most highly respected groups in Spain. You talk to anybody, everybody will know the name of Mondragon. We have a university, and this is the way the classrooms of the university look now. How is it different? It's informal, it's collaborative, there are no boundaries between people, people work together much more, and this is a classroom from a management course, and as a part of the management program there, the students are supposed to form teams of 4 students each and form companies, and everybody has to put in 1,000 euros. It's their money. 1,000 euros, every student with a capital of 4,000 euros, they have to create businesses. And they are taken to different parts of the world and they create their own companies. And they start some very small businesses. I give you an example. One team of students came to India and they realized that there are so many black bicycles available in India. And they say that this is something which is retro in Spain. You don't get to see those kind of bikes. So these guys have formed a small company. They're talking to a kabadi here and they're buying old black bikes, very, very cheap, dirt cheap, and they're refurbishing them and selling them in Spain. Small business idea. But at least they know what this business is all about. They're not just, it's not just 9 to 5 job where they go to the office, come back. They have a limited exposure to the business. They are not exposed to all the facets of the business here. Since they are forming their own companies, they are exposed to HR, they are exposed to finance, they are exposed to the government compliances, they are exposed to just about everything. So this is the new way of collaborative teaching. People are collaborating, they are creating companies, and they are learning by way of it. So this is the classroom of the future, and this is going down, and it will be really nice if Mr. Roshan can create something here for the students. I think there is no harm in accepting new ideas because we need to change this country too. Otherwise, we are almost 20 years behind the rest of the world. So you are the people. You have the ideas. You are the future of the 21st century. We can only just talk. Okay, we can share some ideas with you whenever you want, but whenever you want. Not when we want to give them to you. It's your time. Go, fly, explore the world. Thank you very much.
Any questions?
It was just a story.
Anybody would like to ask any questions? Thank you for uplifting the creative thinking of the students, sir. This is surely going to help them in future. Sure.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to do that.
To honor the guest, may I invite our Director General, sir, to present a token of gratitude to Mr. Ashutosh Sharma, sir. When we work as a team and we set goal, or we decide to work on a project, several times it happens as other team members say that we can do it or this other project is more appropriate. So how can one keep it up or they shall just change it?
Can I read some law? Can I read it before I answer this? So the question is, when we work as a team and we set a goal or we decide to work on a project, several times they happen as other team members say we can do it, or this other project is more appropriate. So how can we keep up, or they should just change it? Well, this is something, when you collaborate, this was the point. Collaboration is an art. Our normal, reaction is that my idea is the best idea. And this is what becomes the main block in accepting the ideas of the others. And this leads to conflict in the ideas of different team members. So I think, in communication, as a part of the communication tool, the most important tool of communication, they say, is the ability to listen and understand. If you are a good listener and if you are able to understand what the other person is able to communicate, 90% of the communication is done. You don't have to give very long answers, etc., etc. The problem is we normally like to speak more and listen less. And this is what leads to problem. So you have to, especially in the 21st century, where I think most of the people will create companies, will create new businesses, will work together. It is very important to learn and listen to the ideas of the others. You have to think very seriously before you say no or reject any idea. You have to spend a lot of time in understanding what the other person wants to say.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. The journey never ends to impart knowledge. Let's call upon Mr. Chemist Rakesh, sir, to share his words of wisdom. Oh, welcome, sir, please.
I understand that, but to release, I think this time is late, but if it is not okay with you, I can say for 15-20 minutes. Fine? Okay, thanks for that. See, before starting, okay, first one thing that I want to admit here is, so what all was there in the banner over here, in the banner of the friend, okay, I take care of Chennai location. I'm part of HR team from Chennai location. I lead HR operations for Chennai location. And I need campus freshers batch management for Chennai location. So whatever thing HR is mentioned here, please remove it. Please don't make my office members to see this, then I am fired tomorrow morning. Here HR sees it, they are fired tomorrow morning. Okay. That is just a career-wise impression about me. I don't have a PPT because my talk today here is going to be completely a ground-level scenario speech that I want to give you. Before starting, I would like to thank college admin, college management team over here, and Sauram and Amit and Raghu sir over here for providing this opportunity and sharing with such a big stage over here where we have all those very senior speakers over here and who are in the industry for a very long time and who are kind of legends in their own industries and society. Okay. So I'd like to thank everybody for providing such an opportunity over here. And compared to them, everybody, I'm just a beginner over here with the overall experience of 10 years in HR profession. I started my career in Mumbai in a company called Naik Technologies Limited, so which was around say around 700 now technology. I started as an HR trainee. So when I was working there for 5 years, when I moved to Chennai, I joined a company called IIST, so which is now recently acquired by Capgemini. So currently I'm associated with Capgemini. The detailed profile that I handle is HR operations for Chennai location. That is second or main profile that I handle is campus freshers batch management for Chennai location. So any of you who are going to be hired from Capgemini, you will see my face on the very first day in Chennai. Okay. I hope to see many faces from here. All the rest for that. So, sorry for I'm just using mobile to just note down few points. Okay. So that was just a small quick introduction about me. Next is so this topic over here, what does 21st century young people's skill set is required? Okay. So before getting into that, first let me ask you a single question that how many of you here wish to survive a successful career or wish to survive a career? Healthy career. How many of you wish to survive a healthy career? So I see all the hands raised up. So in this, can I ask how many of you have to succeed in your career? Because there's a lot of difference when you say that you want to survive and you want to succeed. Surviving up to me that anybody can do it. Okay, so there is no point that we say that I want to survive a career or I want to survive my life. The main difference there is you have to succeed in the career. So before getting to the next point, so my next question is, what do you think the term success is? Anybody from here? How do you define the term success?
Achieving goal.
Achieving goal. Okay, good. Okay, so let's break down the thing here. Achieving goal is one thing on a very broader perspective. Okay, so to see on a small perspective, anything that you do that makes you stand unique among your crowd. Okay. That is a success that you can have a success milestone in your career or your life. Okay, so just for an example, who organized this event from the students committee? Can you have your hands? Student committee who organized this event? So you have done a really very good job. So which means that you have succeeded organizing this event. So which is again a milestone that is there in your success path. Okay, success doesn't have any limit, doesn't have any boundaries. It does not stick to any of the characters or features or anything. It is just a common term which has this milestone coming up. So every part of your life, you can have success coming up. Okay, so whatever you do, even if you host a program which others don't do it, that means you have succeeded something there. Okay, if you have organized this complete event, that means you have succeeded something there. Okay, anything that you do apart from the crowd, okay, you stand unique, that is not a success. So there is a difference between surviving and succeeding. Okay, so before moving to the next point, so when we talk about succeeding, okay, so when we plan for it, okay, what we think is we need to have a pattern followed for having a successful career or successful life. Okay, so that pattern is nothing but if you want a career, if you want a career, first ask 2 questions to yourself, saying what do you want? Okay, what do you want? Do you really want to get into a job in an organization? Or do you really want to start your own business? Or do you really want to get into politics or media industry or singing industry, whatever it is? First, just make your mind clear before approaching your career path. You have to ask yourself what you really want. This question you have to ask yourself because, see, time is very precious, okay? Time flies like something. So the moment when you fix on a career path and move on, it's going to run away very soon. So you cannot run in a path which you don't like, which you are not interested in. Instead, you choose the path that you want, which will make you feel happy, which will add fun on it. Okay, choose that path and you can start running in that. Okay, and second thing is what you want it. If you say that I want this career, you should know the answer for what you want also. Suppose if it's for a passion that you want that career to be carried forward, or if it's for the money, or if it's for the fame and other stuff. So what do you want it? Just have a clear idea on all these 2 questions before you start your career planning. Okay? So these 2 things that I wanted to share. And next thing is the pattern that I was talking about. Okay. So first, there are 2 questions that you can ask. And next is self-realization. You first evaluate yourself. Nobody here in this world is a good evaluator than self-evaluator. Okay. You first evaluate yourself, understand what you are capable of and what you can be capable of. Okay, so that you can enhance your skills or what, everything. So if you plan that whatever you are capable of, what you can be capable of. So just plan those things. Okay, and let's just when you join an organization. Okay, when you join an organization, see, I give guest lectures for colleges. Okay, I go to I've gone to 10 colleges to date. I address the final year students, especially final year students who are about to join the corporate. Just to share my experience, where I have been handling freshers for the last 4 to 5 years. I will not say that I've done a PhD in understanding their mindset, but seeing them for the last 4 to 5 years, okay, I've seen multiple changes in their attitudes and characters. Every year wise I can say. Okay, I can even tell you a clear cut of year, 2015 end to 2016 starting, we started seeing a random change in the attitude of the students joining the campus. I don't want to talk anything regarding the technical skills. Okay, that is something that is inbound in you, and you have several multiple options to enhance it. You can go to online, you can have mentor, you can go for training classes, you can have your friend teaching you all the time. So technical stuff is that one thing that you can develop yourself by having a good network. So I don't want to get into the technical stuff. Okay, so my concentration over here will be completely on attitude and behavioral part, where I am a core HR. So I got nothing to do with technical stuff, and my core concentration is completely on the behavioral part and the attitude part. So that's plenty of changes that we see when a fresher joins a corporate campus. Okay. The first thing I can say is, I will not tell that everybody are on the same page. Okay. There are, say, around 10 to 20% are fine, but max to max around 80% of freshers joining in a campus. I'm talking completely about IT industry because I have almost all the experience of IT industry. So almost around 70-80% of freshers joining the campus, they lack some kind of seriousness. Okay? And they still continue to be in the college mindset after getting to the corporate campus. So where we have set up of 3 months of training going on. So all the 3 months, again it's kind of a classroom setup they have. They enter the college campus but still continue to act as a student inside the campus. So which they don't see any changes in them and we also don't see any changes in them. And we tried literally very hard for having many sessions for them to make them understand what kind of attitude they should have. They cannot have this lethargic attitude or attitude in the sense anything comes to under umbrella of negative attitude. So that is what I am talking about. So first thing that when you join the corporate, you need to have some basic positive attitude. Okay. Organization is there to support you, to guide you, to monitor you, but not to do babysitting job. None of the corporates does it nowadays because we will be observing you for a short period of time. First warning is given, second strict warning is given, third time out of the company. Because none of the HR professionals have time to sit, make you understand again and again. So none of us have time for that. Okay. So first time we tell you, second time we try to tell you again, a little strict way, and third time out of the company. So that is what when the students joining in the organization are not changing. So we have to change our process and policies. We have to bring a little more strict policies in place, disciplinary policies. So that is what the current trend that we are going to. Okay, so for in this case, I would recommend the college management also. So before this, all the freshers who are getting placed and coming to corporate, it is always better to have kind of mock sessions inside the campus. You can invite HR professionals from the industries and trainers from the industries. They can come to the college and have mock sessions that how the corporate is, and they can have their own role plays going on. So because anything visually only will catch our eyes and mind the what. Okay, so no presentations, no talks can catch them more than a visual presentation. So a role play kind of thing can be happening. So that kind of suggestion that you can do it for them to understand what kind of behavior that they need to have when they enter corporate campus. So this is one thing that I like to share to the college management also. And next is the skills to be improved. Okay, so I would say understanding skills. Okay, before you proceed further in any of your work, first understand what is that work. Okay, why is that work required? If your manager says that was develop this code, okay, ask him why this code needs to be developed. What is the end result of it? Who are going to be the users? You can ask all those questions to him and you can have a basic knowledge so that you are very clear on the work that you do. Doesn't stop with the coding only. I'm talking about everything together. Whatever work, career-wise you are doing, just ask questions and get understanding of the respective subject first. Okay. And next is a main thing: human valuing relationship. Okay. So that one thing where we majorly miss nowadays, we all are bounded in the technology, where we always focus only on the technology. And we started seeing human being also as a mission. If you don't like him, immediately press delete and remove out of the line. Okay, and if you like him, just put smiles and keep him with us always. Any relationship it may be okay. It may be your father, mother, your cousins, your friends, your office colleagues, your peers, everybody. Okay. So always just start having the emotional feelings because that is day by day is getting reduced, which we see in the industry. Because that will create your healthy work environment. The healthy work environment triggers you to have success in an organization. You cannot succeed alone in an organization. A good healthy work environment is required for which you will have to have a good relationship values among everybody in an organization. So just start focusing on that also. And next is hard work and smart work. That's one concept that I would say. Only hard work will not help you. It will help you. I'm not saying it will not never help you. But end of the day, a smart work is also required in that. Because actually many people who put in their most of their effort, okay, they stay overnight, they work hard, they do exceptional works apart from what managers are given them. But end of the day, they are not recognized for the work that they have done. Okay, but the guy who has done a smart work, what does a smart work mean? Self-marketing. Okay, self-marketing of what you do, that is required. Just if you want to do the hard work and when you don't market your work is not for a toss. And a guy who has not done much and he markets himself in a positive way, he shines there. That is the difference. Always have a balance of both hard work and smart work together. And this is for the freshers that I would like to say. And for the other HR, ME and HR people who are sitting in the other auditorium, okay. So just a small kind of 2-3 points to discuss with you. So anybody who is willing to develop their career in HR, okay. So my suggestion is that please start join a company, a startup company. Okay, please do not start focusing on a very big Tier 1, Tier 2 companies where you will not have much opportunity to explore. Okay, HR is not sitting in a system and doing Excel work. That is something beyond that. We deal with human brains. Okay, we deal with human brains. That is what HR needs to know, how to manage a human being. We don't work with Excels anymore. Okay, that is not become as a system. Every operational work is become as a systemized work. Okay, and it's becoming very fast. No more HR operations staff will be required to run an HR operation. But the BU HR, strategic HR, that is what which is coming up now. Okay, for that the human touch is required. Okay, so and you need to have complete HR knowledge in that. So that is the reason I'm suggesting you join a startup company where you can explore yourself, explore opportunities. You can work on everything under HR umbrella. Okay, when you're joining a very big company, okay, you will just be given one single module to work with. You are not going to handle complete HR there. Okay? You are just going to handle only one single module of the HR, which will help you to have knowledge only in that specific stream, not in the complete HR process. You can start your career in a small company, learn things. Okay, and HR, to be frank, they are less paid in the beginning. Yes or no? If you accept or no, that is the fact. HR are less paid, but the more that knowledge you gain, the more smarter you become in your work, that much you are going to succeed in your career. Okay? And the second point for HR to remember is you are fit to be a HR only if you are approachable and if you have patience. If you say that I don't have patience and I am not approachable, then you don't have work in HR in an organization. Because HR is something that you work for an employee. Even though you work under an organization, you work for an employee. You serve employees. That is what the work that you do. So you need to have a basic patience and you need to be approachable. There's no chance, no alternative in that. You need to be approachable. Okay, so that is for HR friends that I would like to share over here. And next is the last 2 points. See, money matters, but what matters more than that is the relationship. We start focusing on money nowadays more. Good. That is the only source that we can run our family and our life. But relationship matters more than that. We have to parallelly take both together because nowadays we see many kind of relationships breaking away, okay, going vanishing away just like that. We don't even call our parents even once in a day. Even if you call, we just talk for 2-3 minutes, we keep the call. So that one thing that I'd like to focus, always have this emotional thing inside you, your family members, everything. You need to maintain the relationship. And it's your life. Please make sure you live it with the worth living it. You have to have value for it. You need not apply for any other, you not bend yourself for any other's wish or any other's advice. Please make yourself some clear-cut path and walk through it. At last, not the least, have fun in whatever you do. Whatever work you do, please make sure you have fun in it. Only if you have fun, you are going to like the work. Only if you like the work, you are going to succeed something in that work. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have few questions from our students. What are your expectations from immediate freshers in HR now?
So that is actually a difficult question. Everybody in every colleges they ask. Okay, and we have many minds coming up saying that HR's question will be like this. They ask from this, that. I don't want to write anything. Okay. So HR round is going to be something like a very generic round where you will be asked to understand your attitude, to understand the way of your response. Okay. I will not say that I can understand you in that 5 to 10 minutes, 100%. I cannot analyze you. Okay. But at least 50 to 60% of understanding that I can have. When I ask you to tell about yourself, I don't just tell it for running out of time. I make you tell that whether you are confident in whatever you say. To understand whether you are confident in the content that you deliver. Okay? And whatever content you deliver, okay, it may be anything that you are exaggerating or you are lying or you are trying to do that. It will be, if you are saying something that you have done exceptional like this, so my next question will be focusing on that. So understand whether you have done it really or not. Okay, so always when you have HR round, it is just to analyze you and your character and your attitude. Character we cannot analyze much, but your attitude, yes, that can be analyzed up to a certain level. Okay, and your communication skill, that is one thing that primarily that the speakers here spoke about it. That is language that we require in the coming centuries. Okay, so everybody start talking nowadays to the clients that we have many freshers joining in 1 to 3 months. They start talking to the clients that. Okay, so to understand the client language and their slang and everything, you need to have your own self-developed communication. Okay, so that's one thing that we analyze. That's it.
So another question is how to control my emotions and put my emotions into action. Students want to ask, how can they put their emotions into action?
Good question.
Start doing it.
You can never have a version of water. So that you can start diverting your emotions to them also. And you will not be more emotional in the work environment. See, emotion is something that is inbuilt in you, okay? So controlling it is up to you only. So you better, when you step into a pathway, when you step inside a office campus, you leave all your emotions outside. I'm talking about the family emotions. But inside a corporate, you need to have little emotions around your parents that needs to be there. If you lose that also, then you are completely losing all your human values there. Emotion needs to be there, but up to a certain limit. It is not that your man is also supposed to start praying immediately. You need not have that much of emotions. Have to a limit, but that needs to be there in organization where you work.
The other question is, how can we overcome from regular failure or not getting results after performing an report? You want me to repeat that?
Okay, this question is something that can relate you to the current training modules that we have when a fresher joins the campus. Okay, so when a fresher joins our campus, okay, so we have a training module of say 6 layers of assessments that happens for a fresher in 3 months of time. So every assessment we do have additional retest also given. So anybody who I'm just quoting this as an example. So anybody who fails in first attempt is given a second attempt. And even in second attempt, if you fail, there's no attempt to be done. You are out of the company. Similarly, that same example can relate to anything whatever you say. If you fail once, that may be reason of anything. It may be reason of your surrounding, it may be reason of your people next to you, along with you, or your own misunderstanding or anything. But second time if you fail, it's completely on you because you should have corrected yourself in the first failure. Second time if you are failing, it's completely on your head. You cannot blame anybody for that. You should have taken corrective measures in the very first beginning mistake that you did.
So another question is, it's like companies expect experienced people to be hired than freshers. And if a company will not hire freshers, how will we get recruited?
No, this is completely a wrong question. This is completely a wrong question. Okay? All the organizations that nowadays, they look for freshers on. They look for freshers on. Because any experienced employees in the organization, okay, if there are 100 employees, there are only 10 will be more creative, innovative. And the remaining 80% of the employees are working stagnant. They do the routine work they do. They come morning, do the programming, test it, deliver, and move. Next day they come, managers give them some work, they do, they go. They don't think anything creative. Okay? But the creativity and innovation ideas that comes from the freshers. Okay, so that is like a fresh blood running in the body. So you people are like fresh blood running in the organization, which will bring more energy to the organization, and more innovative and ideas to the organization. So of course this question itself is wrong. There is no such scenario in the market. Freshers are hired in a exclusive way nowadays in the markets. IT industry I'm talking about, I'm not sure about other industries.
Thank you for guiding us through this, sir. Thank you very much. To honor our guest, may I request Dr. Mayank Saxena, sir,